And so there we go. So I'm just going to introduce ourselves very quickly. But before we get going, I've got a little competition this evening for you to take part in. And the winner is going to receive one of these lovely heritage aprons. So these have just been released. Us advisors have had them for a couple of months now. Obviously, we're celebrating Thermomix's 50th anniversary this year. And we've had these lovely aprons designed. So to be in with a chance of winning one of those, what we'd like you to guess, and if you can put the answers in the chat, is to the nearest minute, how long do you think we are going to be cooking for this evening? So you've got a couple of minutes now to put the answers in the chat while we're all introducing ourselves. So we've got quite an ambitious menu to get going with. So it'd be interesting to see what those answers are and how long you think it's going to take us all. So to the nearest minute. Right, I'm going to kick off with my introduction. So I know a lot of you already. It's lovely to see so many of my customers and also people that I've been talking about the Thermomix to over the last few months. My name is Lindsay, so I do know lots of you on here, but there are lots of you that I don't know as well. My background is I'm a trained chef. And I said no to this machine for about 5 years. I drove the advisor mad when she initially started talking to me, because I was one of those people. We often find that people fall into one of two camps. Either people say, I love cooking, so it's not for me, or I hate cooking and it's not for me. And actually, the reality is it's for everybody, whether you love cooking or you hate it, because you will get different things out of it. So as an adventurous cook, it will challenge you to cook more creatively and allow you to just simply tackle more things. And that was the bit that I hadn't got my head around. And as somebody that can't cook, it will actually act like having a sous chef in the kitchen teaching you what to do. I've got somebody off mute. Maybe it's one of the advisors. I don't know. But if you could just mute yourselves,
November, that's
please.
during the week.
Can you mute yourselves, please? Whoever that is talking about the 1st of November. So I came at this thing saying, no, it's not for me. I'm not interested in it. But what I realised was I hadn't actually seen it in action. And it was one evening when I ended up at a demo rather inadvertently. I was there just making up numbers. And I saw this thing going and I was just blown away with the speed and the ease with which it produced food, and then the quality of the food that we had. It was really the bread rolls that did it for me. When we made the bread dough in less than 2 minutes, and then within an hour we had beautiful wholemeal bread rolls on the table to go with the soup that we'd made. That was one of the best quality soups I've ever tasted. So it just got me thinking about it a little bit differently. And then eventually, a couple of months later, once I'd fully understood it, I bought one. But we also have people here that buy Thermomixes because they can't cook. And we've got a couple of ladies on the call this evening. So I'm just going to hand over to one of them. So I say can't, I should say couldn't cook. And now, of course, with a Thermomix, you can cook. So I'm just going to hand over to Sarah Cohen. And she's going to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I discovered the Thermomix in December. I actually bought one for my husband for his birthday. And because I couldn't cook, I had no confidence in cooking, so I bought one for him, so he wasn't so much of a chore for him. Anyway, once I discovered how easy it was to use and what things I could produce from it, I was away. And then I became an advisor because I just basically wanted to share the love. And yeah, it's just changed our complete whole lifestyle in the kitchen. We're just turning out food, and the kids are becoming a lot more adventurous. And the thing that really drew me to the Thermomix was just eating clean food with, you know, very little additives and preservatives, and cutting out, particularly with all your cupboard fillers, cutting out all those additives and preservatives. That was a big game changer for me. So yeah, I'm loving the journey. So I can cook now.
Brilliant. And let's go over to Michaela now. So Sarah is in Leicestershire. Michaela is in Northampton, or Cambridgeshire, I suppose it is, isn't it? Borders, Northampton, Cambridge. There we go.
So hi everybody. So I could cook, but I was a really busy corporate working mum. So we became very reliant on takeaways and ready meals and just everything for convenience. And our diet was absolutely shot to bits. I never heard of the Thermomix until Lindsay, by accident, ended up in my kitchen giving me a demonstration. And that was it. I was absolutely sold. I was a customer of Lindsay's for well over a year. And then last summer, I signed up to be an advisor, a bit like Sarah. this machine has transformed not only our diets, we have saved a fortune. And I just really want to share this passion with everybody. And on the other side note is my husband's gone from being quite critically poorly to actually, on Monday, we got some further blood results and things like his cholesterol and his liver and all the critical care measures in his blood are all down. And we put this down to eating a non-processed diet. So I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so let's go over to Linda now.
Hi. Yeah, so
in Norfolk, I should say.
Yeah, I'm in Norfolk. My Thermomix journey probably started a couple of years or so ago when somebody was talking about it, and then we ended up in lockdown, what have you. So I forgot about Thermomix, and then I joined a networking group and met Michaela. And Michaela then came over to my house and did a demo for me at a time when I had just changed my lifetime diet. I changed from low fat, low sugar to a different diet, different lifestyle, and Thermomix just absolutely changed that for me. It gave me a lot of new menus that I could use in my diet. I lost weight, and I also stopped using anything processed. So there are no jars, there are no packets in my pantry, and I just live clean. And the Thermomix has helped me to do that. So yeah, that's my Thermomix journey. I was a customer, now an advisor.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks for sharing that, Linda. And yeah, that's a really important point, actually. If there are any customers on this call, or indeed just prospective customers that think, actually, this looks like a really good thing to do, please have a chat with one of us. We'll tell you all about becoming an advisor with Thermomix. It's great fun. I've met so many wonderful friends over the last 3 years that I've been doing this. Yeah, we have a lot of fun together, and basically we get paid for making and eating fabulous food. We also have a recruitment challenge on at the moment. We are trying to attract 550, because it's our 50th anniversary month, new advisors into the business between September and October, as that is key to continuing our growth. We had 70% growth last year in lockdown, which was enormous by any standards. And of course, the company want us to better that this year. And the key to that, getting more Thermomixes in more people's homes, is having more advisors to introduce it to their family and friends. And this machine, as you'll hopefully see tonight, well, it just sells itself. Once people see it in action, there's nothing else like it on the market. So you know, it is an easy sell in that respect, because it does the selling for you. We just need to spread the love and our passion for it. So yes, if there's anybody out there that thinks they'd like to join the team, please have a chat with one of us, and then we can take it from there. So a couple of things I want to say about it before we get cooking, and I know you're anxious to see the cooking. Is this month's special offer is huge. People wait all year for our offer this month. So the Thermomix, as lots of you will know, you've gone online, you've horrified yourself with the price of it. Can you mute yourselves? Whoever's off mute, please mute yourself. You've looked on it, you've nearly fallen over, you thought, £1,200, I can't afford that. Hopefully we're going to show you this evening exactly why you can afford it. And as we know from our own personal journeys, everybody finds the price a bit of a challenge to start with, but our job is to show why that price isn't a challenge, and actually you can save far more with a Thermomix in your kitchen than without one. So the real question is, can you really afford not to have one, as opposed to can you afford to buy one? And the cost savings that can be achieved through having a Thermomix are quite incredible. We did a demo a couple of months ago, and the demo's on my YouTube channel, where we showed how you can offset the monthly cost just by making a few items like yogurt, hummus. We did some pizza, we did some butter chicken, we did a couple of store cupboard staples. There's somebody off mute again, please mute yourselves. And we saved ourselves just from that limited menu about £60 versus buying it ready-made in a supermarket. And then if you compare that against buying a takeaway, the cost saving was £90, and that was just on a few items. So when you think with one of our spread payment plans that you can buy a Thermomix from as little as £9, it's actually £8.45 a week on a 3-year payment plan, and then you work the numbers through, actually by spending £36 a month on a 3-year plan, £56 a month on a 2-year plan, or £96 a month on a 1-year plan, you will, if you are using this to its full potential, and that is why you have an advisor, so that we help you do that, and we encourage you personally and through the Facebook groups that we run, you will save twice, I'm confident, twice, if not 3 times that. So really, cost is not the issue that everybody thinks it is. And we see this repeatedly. I regularly ask my customers how much they save, and the conservative minimum figure is usually about £50 a week, and if not more. And even cooks that cook from scratch will say they still save £10 a week. I mean, I save, what was the figure? It was something unbelievable, something like £12 a week just through making my own yogurt. So my kids have a Muller corner addiction, which kids don't. I tried making yogurt before, none of them would touch it. There's this creamy vanilla yogurt on the Thermomix. I make 20 jars of this now in one go. My kids will go through about 28 jars a week. There's 4 of them, 7 jars a day. Some of them eat 2 yogurts a day. It was costing me an absolute fortune. The packaging was also that was going in the bin was ridiculous. But now I simply and easily make my yogurt in a Thermomix, and I save myself more than the cost of a weekly repayment just on making yogurt alone. So that is astronomical. When you start adding up everything else, the savings are huge. So yes, don't worry about the cost. The second thing I want to say when you buy a Thermomix is it's all about community. It's like, unlike any other appliance you ever buy, if you go and buy something from John Lewis or in a supermarket, you walk away with your appliance, and you get back home, plug it in and think, now what? That doesn't happen with Thermomix. You have a dedicated advisor. As long as you buy through an advisor, and if you want a special offer, you need to buy through an advisor, you will have somebody on hand to help you get started, help you get the most out of the machine, and guide you through all the recipes and things that can be done with it, so you can make sure you are getting the most value out of it. Now, you might find that there are companies out there, websites purporting to offer a Thermomix cheaper online. Don't be fooled by them. If it looks too good to be true, it generally is. You can only buy a Thermomix through our own official store, which is through the Vorwerk website, not a website with Thermomix in the name, or through an advisor. But if you go online and buy, you will not get the services and the benefit of an advisor, which if you talk to any of our customers will tell you it's worth its weight in gold, and you won't get the monthly customer promotion, which is what I wanted to tell you about initially, because it is one of the best offers that we do. So this month we are practically giving away a second bowl with a Thermomix. So a Thermomix costs £11.49, and for just £50 extra, so £11.99 in total, you can have a Thermomix and a second bowl, and that is a saving of £110. So it is absolutely huge. Our bowls are £169 usually. Most customers do go on to buy a second bowl quite quickly. It's very useful. It is almost as handy, and I say almost as handy as having a second Thermomix. But if you're doing a lot of cooking, that ability to chop and change is brilliant. We've also got, and lots of you will see, and if you haven't come across it before, you want more details, please do ask in the chat, and I will go into it in a little bit more detail, but I do want to get cooking. We've also got a Thermomix and its companion device, the Friend, which was released earlier this year, for a bundle price of £13.99, and that means you get the Friend effectively for half price. So again, both of those offers are only available till the end of September. Now, Emma, I think I've just seen you ask a question. Was it to do with bowls and models? The old bowls from the TM31 and the TM5 are not compatible with the TM6. It is a brand new bowl, and there is a specific safety feature on that bowl, which is why it's not compatible. So the Thermomix won't work unless the bowl is correctly assembled. So yeah, when you buy a Thermomix, you join this community. We're very supportive. It's a lovely group of people. We've built many, many friendships. And it is like joining an exclusive club. And it is one of the best parts about being a Thermomix owner. So for those that are on the call that haven't seen a Thermomix before, I'm just very quickly going to run over the functions. I really want to be done with this part by 8 o'clock because I want to start cooking. So you will see, if you can see I don't know if you can see my screen, let's bring it a bit closer. There we go. So this is our screen. So our Thermomix recipes are all a function of time, temperature, and speed. Okay, so and if you think about the cooking process, that is what you do, isn't it? It's all about how long you cook something for, at what sort of temperature, and how often you have to go and stir it. And the Thermomix is no different. It's just set out in this way. Then if I just scroll across on here, I've got access to all my functions. So on my 6, it makes the functions really easy, and we're constantly adding new functions via software updates. So your Thermomix never gets old. It's one of the only appliances out there that get better with age. So you can see the functions. We've got our dough function, which you'll see in a minute. We've got turbo, the pre-clean, the blender, got an egg boiler, absolutely brilliant invention. You can boil eggs and determine exactly how you want the yolk, whether you want it soft, medium hard, or hard boiled. You can use it as a kettle. You can warm up food, food that you've previously cooked, or defrost food in here. You can thicken sauces. So things like, one of my favorite things to cook in here is a Hollandaise sauce. I just chuck everything in, click thicken, start, off it goes. 8 minutes later, I've got a perfect Hollandaise out. You've got a rice cooker. You can ferment yogurt. We talked a little bit about yogurt. You can use it as a slow cook, and you can sous vide with it. Now, that is it for now, but it begs the question, there's a lot of empty space on here, so what are they going to give us next? We're already going to get a potato peeler, so that is coming as part of the next blade cover, so you're going to be able to peel your spuds in there. I'm very excited about that, because peeling a kilogram of mash for a family of 6 is not a pleasant task, and you know, the list goes on. So that is our functions. Then what we've got through here is access to Cookie Do. So this is our online recipe platform. So really, this is exactly what sets this Thermomix apart from any other appliances. You've got this interactive touchscreen. Through here, you've got access to nearly 70,000 recipes, which appear on the screen. And a little bit later, when I've got gaps in between the cooking process, I'll show you Cookie Do, actually, but I'll just give you a whirlwind sort of guide to it. You can search it for any recipe that you want, but you'll see there's a number that appear on the screen. And for example, once you found the recipe you want to do, you just click on it like that and click start cooking, and it's as simple as that. And then it will talk you step by step through the recipe. And the fantastic thing about this machine is, I'm just trying to get to the bit where I've got my scales come on, and you will see that is you've got inbuilt weighing scales. So you can see I'm pressing down on that. You don't actually have to have a separate set of weighing scales anymore, because you've got your inbuilt scales here, which is just so and it sounds like something that's so obvious, but actually it's one of the features. When people first get their Thermomix, they go, oh my God, that alone just makes it so easy. And you always know exactly where you are in a recipe, because the step will appear on the screen. So for example, if you have to go and take a phone call, or you need to pop out, or you just want to go and have a shower, or you need to nip out in the garden, somebody else that's in the house that can read and has got some time can take over quite easily from where you've got up to. You don't need to spend hours briefing them, debriefing them what they got to do. It's all there on the screen, and they can just simply pick up where you left off. And somebody named it tag team cooking, and that is a brilliant descriptive term for it. So that is Cookie Do. Like I said, I want to get cooking now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get the bread on first.
We're going to press the stop clock now for timing, so everybody who's getting.
Oh yes, so start the clock. We're going to start the clock. Right, so we're up against the clock now. We haven't timed ourselves, and funnily enough, we haven't done a lot of these recipes before either. So this is again a great example of how the Thermomix is brilliant if you don't know how to cook. You don't need to know how to cook. It just walks you through it. And all these recipes that are on the screen are restaurant quality. So that, Neil, can you stop washing up, please?
I'm not washing up.
Yeah, they're restaurant quality. So you can guarantee that you've got that brilliant result without any of the effort. So there we go. Start cooking. Right. So it's even giving me these instructions on the front of the screen. Lightly grease a loaf tin. Right, place 20 ounces of bread flour. Now, this is an American recipe. So you'll notice immediately that the screen has changed to imperial units from metric. So it changes over straight away, and then it will change back once I've done that recipe. So I'm just going to go back like this and put you on a tripod. So hopefully you can see my screen and the weighing scale. So it's asking me to put 20 ounces of bread flour in there. So hopefully I've got it all weighed out. I'm just going to shake that in, and you can see that hopefully you'll see the scales coming up. And let's see, yeah, there we go, 20 ounces in. So I love making bread in a Thermomix. It just makes it really, really easy. Now it's asking me for an ounce of extra virgin olive oil. So I'm going to put that in as well. And you'll see the scales have reset to 0. Hopefully you can see my screen okay. Yeah, it's a little bit, let's see if I can make it a bit clearer by putting the light any more nearer. Yeah, closer to it. There we go. 2 teaspoons of salt. So here's the salt, it's going to go straight in. You won't believe, if you've never seen bread made in a Thermomix before, you actually won't believe how easy it is. Right, and a teaspoon of sugar. That was actually in with the salt as well, just to speed things up. Right, now 14 ounces of water. My scales are back at 0, so all I'm doing is adding in the water. Like this. And this is an absolutely fantastic recipe. I haven't quite got enough for a really decent farmhouse white loaf. So it's really close to that sort of white sliced bread that you can buy, but it's done with literally limited, minimal effort. Click on it. So it's asking me for some yeast. So I've just got my yeast already weighed out. So pop it in there. The lid on, and then it's just going to mix it together for 5 seconds. Let it mix. You see, clock is counting down, and then it's asking me to keep the lid inserted. So keep it on, and all I'm going to do is set off a 5-minute knead. So there we go. So if I show you over the top, that bread is going to knead away for 5 minutes. Ever so easy, really quick, and then you won't believe actually quite what we do with it afterwards. We just dump it in a tin, and we're going to ferment it in the tin, and then just stick it in the oven, and that is a loaf of bread. So super, super easy. So while that's kneading away, I'm going to hand over to Michaela to do steamed pears. Okay.
Hi everyone, so I'm going to be doing steamed pears with a chocolate and coriander sauce. So that sounds really sophisticated, something you get in a restaurant, but anyway, it's really easy. I've started this recipe already, so I've weighed in the water into here, and I've already done my pears. Look, so what I'm going to do is put it into the Varoma. So this is the lovely top hat that you can steam things. It's big enough to steam things like fish and meat and whole chickens. I love doing a whole chicken. So I've weighed in 400 grams of water. It says set the Varoma, weigh in your pears, which I've already done, close the Varoma lid, press next, and look, I don't know if you could just see that, it's probably a bit bright, but it's telling me for 20 minutes it's going to cook on temperature Varoma, which is really bloody hot, and just turn my selector to 1, and there we go, it's set itself off for steamed pears. I'll hand back to Lindsay.
I just take myself off mute, and now I'm going to have to fire up my other Thermomix this evening, because this one is still kneading away. It's got 3 minutes on the clock. So we're just going to wait for this to wake up. I am going to just pop my recipe on, but before I do that, I just wanted to show you what happens when we look at the weekly planner. So again, this is one of the reasons why customers find Thermomix so helpful and beneficial, is because we've got the ability through our recipe planner to plan out our week. So if you can have a look at my little weekly planner here, once it loads up, thinking about it, you can see I've put all the recipes for tonight on here already. You can schedule what you want to cook today, tomorrow, next week, next month. So you've got it all laid out, and all those recipes are available to you immediately through the touch screen. Then from there, through our Cookie Do app, you can then synchronize those recipes with your shopping list. So you can just add the ingredients to your shopping list. You can edit and amend that shopping list, and then you can synchronize that with your online shopping provider, which will then order those ingredients for you. Sadly, the Thermomix doesn't pay for them, but they will be delivered to your door, and then all you've got to do is get them out again and let the Thermomix take over and cook them for you. So it really does do everything, right from that planning through to the shopping, through to the cooking, and then at the end of it, it washes itself up as well. So I'm just going to find my Stroganoff recipe. So let's just go back to that. So here we go. This is our main meal for this evening. Now I'm going to go straight in. It has asked me previously to put some parsley in there and chop it up. I've just chopped it up by hand for speed tonight, but we're going to, I'm just going to zero those scales, and we've got 200 grams of brown onion going into there. So just see if I can turn my light around. It might help with doing the screen a little bit more carefully. So I'm just going to zero that. It's asking me just to cut it into wedges. So here we go. Those are the wedges. In they go. Then it's going to say to me, add some oil in. Add the oil like that. Now, I'm just going to reduce the oil a little bit. It said add in 30 grams, but I'm just reducing that. You can put a teaspoon of oil in if you want to. You can add a little bit of water. So if you're sort of on Weight Watchers of Slimming World and reducing the amount of oil you cook with, then you can just use oil instead. So there are other ways of doing it. Then it's asking me to put the splash guard onto the mixing bowl lid. So here we go. Here's our first accessory that we're using tonight, which is the splash guard. All of these come with a Thermomix. So when you buy a Thermomix, the only optional accessory that you have to buy if you want to is the blade cover, which we can talk about a little bit later. It's useful for slow cooking and sous vide. It's about £20. We are bringing out a new design with a potato peeler as well. So it's worthwhile waiting. I think it's going to come out around November. It's worthwhile waiting for November for that. So that goes on top. And then it's just going to put on the high temperature function for me for 3 minutes. I'm just going to click start. So it's just going to saute away. And that is just brilliant timing, because while I've done that, my dough mode on the other machine has finished, and it's asking me to transfer the dough. So let's have a look. Here's the dough in here. You see it's all beautiful and smooth. Now I just need to turn that light around so I'm highlighted again, and then I'm just going to show you exactly what to do with it. So what it wants us to do is transfer the dough to a prepared pan. So lots of my customers will just get their pan like that. So we just need to make sure you've got a pan that fits inside the Varoma. So here's the Varoma. This is the steaming attachment. You're going to see it in use 2, maybe 3 times this evening. And it's an attachment that lots of people don't quite know what to do with, but it is really, really useful. So you can ferment yogurt in it. You can ferment bread dough in it to speed up that fooding process. You can steam your fish and your chicken over soups. You can steam vegetables in it in a multi-layer sort of format whilst you're cooking a roast dinner. It's a brilliant attachment. And so what it does is it gives you a really energy efficient way to cook, because you can utilize the heat while the Thermomix is doing something else to then pop whatever you want on the top to steam through. Okay, so I am going, whilst World War III is breaking off behind me, I hope you can't hear that, between it's the children and their father tonight. Great. I am just going to show you, do what I do best and lose myself in bread making. There we go. And I'm just going to pull it out. So it's quite sticky, this dough, actually, if you handle it. But the instructions do say, I'm going a little bit off piece, as people that know me well know that I like to do. But that's because I think when you've got manual control over it, you can get a result that is better for you. Yes, you can just pop the bread into the tin and it will be fine. But actually, if you want a more professional looking loaf, and this is why we have lots of people that join our demos from across the UK, because they pick up these lovely professional tips. then you need to get your hands a little bit dirty. And I will show you how to shape it. Pull a little bit extra out with my fingers. So there we go. So you can see that's fairly clean in there. Dish that over there. And then I just need to get it off the blades as well.
Do you want to centralize your view a little bit because you're mainly on the machine? There you go, perfect.
There we go. Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Michaela. So I'm just going to get it out. Now, these are really useful. These are called dough scrapers. You could use a pan scraper. They're just a couple of quid off eBay, Amazon, or one of the bakery supplies. I use a company called Bakery Bits, which is quite good for my bread making. And they are absolutely brilliant when you are doing your dough work. And they're also really good for scraping down your work surface after. So here, you'll notice on this mat, you may have seen me just grease it with a little bit of olive oil. Not too much, but a little bit of olive oil. And I've got a little bit of olive oil on my hands as well. Now, when you're making bread, unless you're rolling out something like pizza, you don't want a lot of extra flour because the bread will just absorb the flour. That's what makes a lot of people's bread heavy. So, and the other thing is when you're shaping bread with lots of flour around you, you won't be able to shape it properly because you need some tension in the dough, between the dough and the surface in order to shape it correctly. So all I'm doing is I'm just going to pick it up like that. Just give it a little shape round. Okay. And then I'm just going to sort of roll it towards me a couple of times like that. It's going to stick a little bit. And it is quite difficult. You need to be very quick and quite firm with your dough because otherwise it will stick to your hands. Move my dough out of the way. So I'm just going to sort of bash it down, going to give it a little roll up. Okay. Then I'm going to bash it down again and move it towards me like this. And then I've got a lovely shaped loaf that I can just then ease towards me. I love this. It's so therapeutic. Look how beautiful and soft
I have
that
to
is.
say, that is one of the most stress relieving things.
I know,
ever.
it's absolutely beautiful, isn't it? And you get this beautiful sort of tight, taut skin on the bread, which just makes it rise in a really uniform way. So it's worthwhile just doing a little bit of that before you pop it in the tin, and then you can press it down. Now, of course, you can just dump it, as the recipe says, straight in the tin, but it's just nicer to do it like that. Now, what I'm going to do next, so I'm going to put the blades back in, and this is where it's going to be super useful. I just need to get to the sink and get some water in there. Just going to put some water into my Thermomix bowl. I go back to my screen. It just simply tells me on here, transfer dough to prepared pan, smooth top with spatula. Place pan into the varoma. And then it's asked me to put the water into the main Thermomix. So there it goes. My main Thermomix is obviously still got lots of dough around it. So put in the water, it's going to perform two functions. It's going to steam or help it's going to generate some steam to help raise my bread in about 30 minutes. And it's also going to clean the Thermomix bowl out. So now it wants me to place the varoma into position. So if I just pop you back there, get my varoma, all I'm going to do is pop the bread in there, put the lid on, put the lid back on my Thermomix, and pop that on the top. And then just click next. And it's 35 minutes. It's in Fahrenheit, but that's about 70 degrees. And the bread inside is not going to reach 70 degrees because, of course, that would kill the yeast. So the yeast needs to work at about 37 to 40 degrees. But this is all very carefully calibrated because by the time the residual heat rises, in here, you've got a temperature of about 37 degrees. So that is brilliant for being able to ferment bread dough. And I've used it. I just often roll pizza dough. When I got my pizza dough here and I've made it, I often just roll it in my silicone mat, stick it in the varoma, pop it over some water for 30-35 minutes, and then it's ready to use. So it really speeds up that bread making process. Right, I'm going to very quickly go back to my stroganoff now. So if I just click on next, those onions have started to cook, and now what it's going to do is it's going to shred them up. So remember, I put those whole wedges in there. Now I'm just going to chop them up, speed 5. So this is where the Thermomix comes into your own. Rather than having to get out loads of different bits of equipment, lots of different bits of equipment, food processors, pans, spatulas, all you need is your Thermomix, because it heats and it chops for you. So I'm going to, it's asking, so it even asks you to scrape down the sides with the spatula. Right, let's go find a spatula. Here we go. I'm just going to scrape down those sides like that. You can see it. Oh, those onions are catching my eyes. I'm going to click on next. So every single instruction is thought through for you. So if you don't know how to cook, or you've got children that are just taking their first steps in the kitchen, it tells them exactly what to do. Right, now it wants me to put in some beef fillet. So it's quite an expensive dinner this evening, but I'm going to obviously write this off against my business. So there we go. So I'm going to put in the beef fillet, 350 grams of it. I might not have quite enough. I let the kids have some lovely beef fillet this evening for dinner as well. And the dog has had some. He costs me a fortune every time I cook. He sits there looking all hopeful. I don't know where he is this evening. I think he might have had too much and has gone off to sleep it off. Right, so there we go. So I've just got under 350 grams. So this will serve 4. Okay, I'm just making the full quantity, but it's going to serve 2. And then what I'll do is I'll just put the rest in the fridge and then heat it up another night. And then again, high temperature mode. So this is a particular mode to the TM6. You can't do this particular recipe in a TM5 or a TM31, because you need that high temperature mode, which cooks and caramelizes the vegetables and the meat. So it's asking me again to put on that splash guard, just for safety. I've put it on. If I don't put that on, the Thermomix won't go. So it needs to be in position. And then all it's going to do is just saute that beef and continue to cook the onions now for 7 minutes. So while it's doing that, I believe I'm handing over to Sarah. I'm hoping Sarah's going to do her cheese souffles. I think, yes.
Hi, yes. Right, cheese souffles. I haven't actually done these before. My husband has, but we'll give it a go. So I've got it into my week, so I know we're cooking it today. I'm going to press and start cooking. And I've preheated the oven. Okay, now it's telling me to grease some ramekins, which I've done. And the cheese. So it's going to Gruyere cheese. Is that the correct pronunciation?
It's Gruyere. Is it Gruyere?
Yeah.
Gruyere. Yeah, there we go. The French cheese.
You can use any cheese your choice. You can use Parmesan or feta or blue Stilton. You can use what you like, really. Right. It's told me to put the lid on, and then it's going to just spin this, grate it for 10 seconds. So that's that done, and I will transfer that to a bowl. So exciting. I love making soup. Well, I love eating souffles. That's what I love making. I hope I will after this. Because they're always quite a frightening thing, I believe, to make. But when we had a quick, as I say, my husband had a quick go at these once, and they were perfect. So I'm hoping they'll be perfect tonight.
So that's why we've given it to you, Sarah, because if you can do it, anyone can do it.
Exactly. Right. Put 4 eggs in. So I'm putting that aside. 4 eggs in, which I've already put into here. I had to go and get some out of the chickens earlier because I was running a bit short. And I found a secret laying place they've got in my store.
Not literally, you weren't squeezing them out the chickens, were you?
Quite like that. Right, 60 grams of the plain flour. Excuse the bowls. 300 grams of milk. I love it how these scales, they just keep zeroing, and It zeros every time you need to weigh something new in. Okay, there we go. 306, but hopefully that'll be okay. And press next. 50 grams of butter cut into pieces. So I did, just to save a bit of time, roast them out earlier. There we go. It's all warmed up a bit while I've been sitting here. Right, next. Pinch of ground nutmeg. It's a bit Christmassy, this. Nutmeg. Bit of salt. Again, any of these ingredients you don't like, you can just leave out. You know, if you're cutting down with salt, you can just leave the salt out. So that's half a tablespoon, but I'll put 2 pinches in. I'll put another big bit in, just because it's a souffle. Ground black pepper. Pinch. That's about a pinch. It doesn't tell you off if you don't put the right amount in, or you leave something out. It will carry on. Okay, the lid on. Next, right, this is going to be 3 minutes heating it. So it's going to heat it up for 3 minutes at 90 degrees. I know the light's quite difficult in here, but here you have the timer in this circle. This is the temperature for cooking, and then this is the blade speed. So it's just at speed 3. Still quite difficult with the lights. There you go. So yeah, this is the time, temperature, and blade speed. And then you can press that, not that I need to on here, but you can reverse the blades as well, so it doesn't cut up any food. And a lot of the slow cooking, well, a lot of the meat recipes it has that in, and the curries, when it's cooking at the end, has that. But anyway, I won't confuse you. So I'm going to leave that cooking for 3 minutes.
You're still on, Sarah. You're going to do the scones next, I think.
I'm going to show to the scones.
Yes. Switch it on very quickly. And yeah, what while your Thermomix is warming up, what I would just say about the reverse function is, yes, of course, you've got full manual control over it, but also if you are on a guided recipe and reverse is necessary for that recipe, then it will come on automatically for you, so you don't need to worry about it. Everything is thought through. We go back to you, Sarah.
Okay, just had my meatballs recipe on here. I cooked meatballs earlier for the kids. Right, my wheat, come on, machine, there we go. Okay, so the scones. It's the apple and maple syrup bacon scones. So this apparently is inspired by the classic American pairing of bacon and maple syrup. There we go. Right, 65 grams of unsalted butter. First.
Now, I hope you made that butter, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put you out.
I was a bit naughty actually, I didn't make this butter, but it's very easy to make butter. And I do make a lot of butter, which is just basically double cream. Whisking double cream for a minute. You have butter, and if you want salted butter, just add a bit of salt to it. If you want garlic and herb butter, add your garlics and herbs. And I love putting them in a little mould. I've got some jigsaw shaped moulds, and I put them in there, and then I freeze them. And then it's really handy for dinner parties. You can put them on each individual plate, side plate, and have a little herb butter in a jigsaw shape.
And that is coming from somebody who didn't cook about a year ago.
That's cooking for 2 minutes at 70 degrees on blade speed 1. And my souffles are nearly done. Well, nearly mixed, shall I say. Right, here we go. See what I have to put in next. Oh, there we go. So 100 grams of cream. It says 30% fat, so I'm just using double cream. Okay. There we go. Okay, 100. Perfect. So the grated cheese, I'll add back in the grated cheese. You can put some herbs in here, some oregano. Hey, listen to me, chef. some oregano or some rosemary, caraway seeds. But I'm just going to do a plain cheese souffle today. So put the lid on, and then it's going to just spin it for 10 seconds. Mix it all up for 10 seconds at speed 6, blade speed 6. And I'll get my ramekins ready. Transferred to prepared souffle dishes. So here we go. So exciting. Right, you can make a big souffle as well, just one big souffle. In fact, I'm just going to do this as quick as I can.
And there's lots of different recipes, aren't there, for souffle? I've done a passion fruit souffle, which is absolutely delicious. It's a little bit more involved than the cheese ones, but it makes it a brilliant dinner party dessert, and it just makes it absolutely faultless. And you can do it without any stress because you know it's going to work as long as you follow the recipe precisely.
Right, I have got a bit of mixture left over, but I'm just going to leave that and just do these. There's plenty of mixture in this recipe. Then it says bake for 20 to 25 minutes or until golden brown at 180. So here we go. I've got my argo up at the moment, it's so hot. It's very hot in this kitchen. There we go. Right, how are we getting on with the scones? Oh, the butter. So the butter could just go back in there. That's the hot butter, but it's just melted. And then we are doing 160 grams of plain flour. I did weigh these out earlier just to speed up a bit. Next, 160 grams of the wholemeal flour. There we go. Tablespoon of baking powder. Tablespoon. Oh, I can't get my thing in here. What's a tablespoon? About a couple of teaspoons, isn't it?
Want me to look at the recipe?
Yeah, no, it's a tablespoon, but
I know you've got it on.
Measure, it won't fit in my baking powder thing.
Oh yeah, that's annoying when that happens.
I should have weighed that out earlier. Bit of salt. And then what have we got? So, now I've got some ground cinnamon, along with some nutmeg and some ground cloves. I've got those already in there. Okay. Oh, I love the smell of ground cloves. Right now I'm putting the lid on. It's telling me, you see, this is what makes it just so easy for somebody that, you know, isn't a chef and had no confidence in cooking. I'm doing this because it taught you step by step. It gives me all the confidence in the world to cook whatever. My son, who's 12, he makes curries and strawberry milkshakes and ice cream and loads of stuff. So it's great for him and them actually knowing what goes into their food. Right, 115 grams of butter. The unsalted butter. Come on. That's about right. And then put the lid back on again. It's a great safety thing. The machine won't work unless the lid is on. So no kids or anybody can get your hands in the blades. Right, this is just going to go on turbo for 1 second. I have to do 3 to 4 times. All right, let's see how that is. Just takes a while to open. Again, another safety thing. Yeah, it says about being like breadcrumbs. Looks like breadcrumbs to me. Put some apple in. Cut up and just diced some apple earlier. I love apple with these things.
It's such a clean, easy way of cooking, isn't it? I mean, look, there's just no mess. If you were to do this by hand, there'd be bowls everywhere, there'd be flour everywhere. You know, you'd need a set of weighing scales out, which is a pain, and it's all just done in the one device.
We have a motorhome, and all we have in it is the Thermomix. We double it up as a kettle because it has a kettle function on there. Especially with the herbal teas, you're not meant to have herbal tea at 100 degrees, it's meant to be at 75 degrees, so you can be very precise on how hot your water is. So we just have Thermomix in our motorhome, and it's brilliant. We went to Latitude earlier in the year, and we saved a fortune on the fast food there, and queue. I saved so much time in having to queue. So we ate felt like restaurant quality food the whole time we were there. And because we could put in our planner what we were going to have before we went. So it was all there. So we had all the correct ingredients. And whoever was back to the van first to get on cooking. Right, maple syrup, 2 large eggs, put the eggs in here. And then reserve melted butter. There we go. And then put the lid on. Right, this is where the reverse function is on the blades speed, because it's got the apple in there, so it doesn't want to cut up the apple. That's just going to stir it for 10 seconds. Through. As I say, the blades are in reverse automatically on here, so it doesn't chop up the apples. Right. There we go. Just a little lid. Now it says put the bacon in. So I did cook some bacon earlier. I guess you can leave this out if you want to, but I'm going to give it a go. Put the bacon in. Then it says actually stir with a spatula. So the spatula. And then we'll use the baking tray here. This is actually just a bland dish. Right. Let's put the dough out. So this is what it looks like. Can you see? Okay, yeah. Move the lid. Right. There we go. Smells good. That's cinnamon and cloves in. And another little tip on here, just get the worst out. When you have stuff around the blades, spin it on the turbo function for 1 second. I'm going to put it on the turbo section, which you can go back to your home screen. I know it's difficult to see on the light, and then you can use the turbo. It's okay. Oh yeah. You hold it. Okay, you hold it there. So on the main screen, go up a bit. There's a turbo function here. I know, sorry, it's the screen, it's the lighting. So it's just for a second, it's going to start. And then you go back to your menu. Basically, when it lets me in, it has spun the blades clean. So then you can just get all the extra mixture out. I'm going to put it up.
While you're doing that, Sarah, I'm just going to whiz back to my stroganoff.
Yeah,
I'll let you pretty that up and then come back. Thanks, Alfie. That's brilliant. Okay, so back to the stroganoff. And what it's asking me, so it's finished sauteing the meat and the onions together. And now what it wants me to do is add in the mushrooms. So just take the lid off like that, and then reset my scales to 0 and add in about 350 grams of onions. So let's just pour them, not onions, sorry, mushrooms. There we go. So they're going in. One of my children earlier flatly refused to eat the stroganoff because he discovered a mushroom in it. So he just had the vegetables. Right, click on next. 50 grams of tomato paste. Okay, so let's just pop you back there. Where is my tomato paste? I suspect it has been cleared away. Yes, here it is. I can always rely on my husband to start putting my ingredients away when I need them. Okay, actually this is a brand new one, so I need to just open it up. I'm just going to squeeze that tomato puree straight in. Doesn't matter that I've gone over it slightly. Click on next. 100 grams of white wine. So again, my scales have reset to 0. I'm just going to pop in 100 grams of wine. Yeah. Click on next. A tablespoon of stock paste. Now, I don't actually have a meat stock paste, but I have got a vegetable stock paste here. And again, these labels were done for a little show that Sarah and I did a couple of months ago. And actually, they're a real talking point because we sort of made up all these jars of various store cupboard essentials that you can make in the Thermomix, just showing you how much money you can save. So this is a key example of something that even probably accomplished cooks would not be making their own vegetable stock paste. Not only does it save you a huge amount of money, you can do it from sort of just waste or leftover vegetables. So any sort of vegetables that are a little bit past their best in the vegetable drawer, you can either freeze them, put them to one side, batch them up, and then you pop them all in. There's a recipe on Cookie Do for vegetable stock paste. You pop them into the Thermomix, chop them all up, add a lot of salt, a little bit of olive oil to it, and it will cook out for about 40 minutes. You don't need to do anything else with it. You don't need to watch it. It will just temperature control the cooking process and stir for you. So at the end, you just go back to it, and I'm sort of almost down this jar, but you can see I've got this beautiful stock paste that will last for months in a jar like this because of the salt content in the fridge. You can make a chicken version and meat version. So against buying a box of 8 cubes, this saves over £1. So if you're doing a lot of cooking, it's just one of those quick wins. And a lot of chefs will use their Thermomixes to make stock paste because it adds so much flavour to food, and it also helps them minimise waste as well. So again, sort of great little Christmas presents as well if you want to sort of give jars away to people for Christmas presents. I'm just going to pop that in. Then it's asking me for a tablespoon of ground paprika. Let's get the paprika in as well. There we are. Click on next. So you can see how easy it is. A little bit of salt to taste. So I'm not going to pop that in actually at the moment because I've put in quite a lot of vegetable stock paste and it is very salty. So I'll just check it and correct the seasoning at the end. And then a little bit of cayenne pepper. I'm not going to pop that in either. A little bit of Dijon mustard, purely because I haven't got it to hand and I don't think you'll want to see me rooting through my cupboard for the right spice jar. I wouldn't inflict my spice cupboard on anybody. I can barely find anything in there because I've got so much stuff. Right, so everything's gone in there. So I've just sort of layered it all up, as you can see. Then it's asking me to put the Veroma into position. So here comes my Veroma dish. And I'm going to just insert the tray on the top of it. Let's just pop you back a bit so you can see what's going on. Okay, and now it wants me to put some cabbage in. So I am just going to get my cabbage, which I've sliced up. So here's some cabbage. I'm going to pop it onto the tray. We don't need that much. There's only 2 of us eating tonight. So a little bit of cabbage like that. And then I wanted to cook some extra veggies, which have also been put away in the fridge. Right, I'm just going to give the tender stem broccoli a go. So this is the great thing with this Veroma, and this is why we talk about Thermomix as being a multi-level cooker, because while you've got something cooking in the base, Often we've got recipes which require, I'm just trying to find my simmering basket. I've just gone off camera for a moment, around the other side. So this again is an accessory which comes with the Thermomix. It sits inside and it's called a simmering basket because it will steam vegetables or rice. So often you've got dishes which are multi-level. You can cook a sauce in the bottom, you can steam rice, and then you've got this that sits over the top and you can steam a protein, chicken, a fish, and more vegetables over the top. But these machines are designed to be multifunctional. So they're designed to just function as almost as a complete kitchen in themselves. So as Sarah mentioned, it's all she takes when she travels in her motorhome. And the reason that is because all of these different accessories have different functions to them. So this is a simmering basket. You can also use it as a sieve, and it's got a little vent on here. So if you make lemonade, and there's lots of demos of us doing lemonade on the YouTube channel, or cocktails, this is a brilliant little device for sitting inside and being able to sieve out the drink directly into the glass. So that's great. This you can use as a colander as well. You can also use it as a salad spinner. So once you've washed your salad, you just put the lid on, give it a good shake, and it will shake out all the water. So that's great. You don't need a sieve, you don't need a colander, you don't need a salad spinner. You just can use this, and then you cook directly with it. So you're using much less equipment. So there's less washing up, less water in use, less resources. It's brilliant. So I was going to, just gone off the subject there, I'm going to pop in a little bit of the tender stem broccoli as well, because we like a bit of that. So that's just going to go in the bottom. So I'm going again a little bit off piece, but it just shows you, once you get familiar with the Thermomix and you know what its capabilities are, you can just adapt these recipes and make them your own. So let's pop that on there. And then it's just going to cook for 15 minutes. So that's it. And while that's cooking away, the stroganoff's cooking in the bottom, it's going to steam my green vegetables on the top. So I can just walk away and do something else. I can go and help the children with the homework. I can wash up, clear up in the kitchen in my husband's dreams, or I can chat to my mates, whatever it is. So it just makes that cooking process a lot less labour intensive. Brilliant. So I think, should we just pop back over to Sarah now with the scones? And see how they've gone in, have they?
They've gone in the freezer for 20 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So they've got in the freezer, and so Sarah's going to show you why they're going in the freezer when they come back out again, because you're going to cut them before you bake them. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go to, I think, are we now over to, how are your souffles doing?
Yeah, they're good. They've got 9 minutes left.
9 minutes, brilliant. So let's go over to Michaela, I think, for the chocolate sauce. Yes.
So what's happened while we've been away is the pears have all steamed in there, and it's asked me to keep that warm. So I put this over here. So you can't see my screen, but you can see the machine, and you're getting the idea about the instructions. Great thing about those that can't cook, this guided step-by-step even tells you what to do in between. So this said, empty and dry your bowl. So remember I had water in there to steam my vegetables. Even tells you to do that. So totally and utterly foolproof. So go on to next. We're going to get into the chocolate and cardamom sauce. Cardamom. I can never say that word right. It's asking me to weigh in 100 grams of dark chocolate. I'm using it's a locally sourced dark chocolate with it's vegan and dairy free. I don't have lactose, so I'm putting that in there, weighing 100 grams. Next it's saying 100 grams of double cream. I'm using a plant-based cream, so it's not going to tell me off, it's not going to shout at me. So you can see here that I'm adapting this menu quite easily to suit our dietary requirements. So if we had our colleague Marie on here, she'd be turning up her nose because she loves everything full fat, full dairy, full flavoured, the works. Next, it's asking me to add a teaspoon of honey. So this is local raw Oundle honey. So again, locally sourced, we'll bang on about this. We can talk about the cost savings, we can talk about the magic machine, but also, we're doing our bit for the environment here while we're cooking amazing restaurant quality foods. Unbelievable. Right, next. And then it's asking for a teaspoon and a half of ground cardamom. Now, another amazing thing about it is I only had cardamom pods. So what I did was, look, I've just made this up. I just ground these pods up on speed 10 for 1 minute, and then you've got it. And do you know, my kitchen has been smelling divine, and especially when I steamed the water in there earlier on and I hadn't rinsed it out, so it does smell, oh, absolutely delicious. So I've put that directly in there. Now it's asking me to put on the lid, and it'll say the measuring cup. So another accessory that comes out of the box. This measuring cup is actually got some marks on the side. It's also a measuring cup. So if you measure in cups, basically, so you can reuse that. It's an amazing aspect of this. So now it's going to cook for 7 minutes on 60 degrees C, and it's asking me to turn to speed 1.5. And it's going to be a perfect, shiny, silky, super tasty chocolate sauce that I will pour over the pears, take a photograph, and show you at the end of the demo. So back over to Sarah, is it?
How are we getting on, Sarah? It might not be you. Should we go over
I've got
to
5 minutes left on my souffles.
Should we go over to Sue for the hummus? I think we could do that if Sue's ready. So Sue's
Yes, I'm
an
ready.
advisor that's joined us a little bit late, but better late than never.
Yep.
So Sue's going to just take us through the hummus. It's super easy to make.
It is. Okay, so tonight I'm making apple spiced hummus, which I have to say I've never made before. Not quite sure what it's going to be like. We're big hummus eaters in this family. Hummus was one of the things that persuaded me to purchase the Thermomix initially, because my son eats gallons of the stuff. And it's the first time I've been able to actually make it to his taste, and that he was accepting of homemade hummus rather than the shop bought stuff, because we get through 6 to 8 pots per week. Anyway, I've never made this recipe before, but it's very straightforward. And first off, one of the ingredients is peanut butter. Now, I haven't actually made crunchy peanut butter before, but it's very easy. I've done other nut butters in here. But just before we started, I made some delicious looking crunchy peanut butter. Just nuts, nothing else. If you buy it in the shops, there's added ingredients and oils and all sorts of things. So I've made that myself because that's going to go into this recipe. So if I start off with the apple spiced hummus and start cooking, then we're literally just going to add the ingredients in. So here I'm actually making a half portion, just in case it's not popular in the rest of this household, and I'll have loads to get through. So I've got 1 tin of chickpeas, which I've changed. Another useful purpose with the Simmering Basket also serves the use of draining. So draining and mincing the chickpeas. So what we need next is the crunchy peanut butter. So I'm going to pop some of that in here, just weighing it directly in. Let's wait for the scales to right.
So I actually did this yesterday with almond butter. So because we can't have peanuts. Yeah.
But I thought, I'll just give it a go.
Yeah.
Okay, then we need some lemon juice. Now I have weighed these out already, so I've just squeezed some lemon, and that's going to go straight in. There. Then we've got an apple, which is peeled and cored. And again, we're just going to put that in pieces like this because it's going to chop it all up as it's required. So pop that in. A tablespoon of maple syrup, which I've weighed out in here. Obviously, you don't need to pre-weigh it out. It's just for purposes of demonstrating. It's all kind of there and easy, but when you can do everything directly in. Then we need some ground cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and a little bit of cayenne pepper to taste. So I've just put those all in here together. So we're just going to add those in. And we'll see how spicy it is. We can always add a little bit more of cayenne pepper afterwards if we want to pick it up a bit. And then we just need some salt, which I'll weigh out here. There we go. I'm kind of intrigued as to what this tastes like actually with those ingredients, but there we go. So simply, we're just going to pop the lid on. And if you can see that my jug looks mucky, that's because I left it from having made the nut butter. It didn't make sense to really wash it up and save out on energy. and water because the peanut butter is going straight in here. So I just used the same bowl, popped it all in, and we're just going to do literally 10 seconds on speed 5. So pop that in now. So really quick, very quick and easy to make all sorts of dips and spreads in here. Let's have a look. And if I click on next, it will just tell me to scrape down the sides with a spatula. You can kind of see in there, sort of spread up the sides a bit. So we'll just scrape that round and push it. Oh, it does smell lovely, actually. And
it grew on me yesterday when I made it, actually, Sue. I wasn't sure about it, but what I thought was really nice with it was I dipped apple slices in it.
Yes.
And I think if you can dip carrot sticks in it as well, it worked really well. So it's sort of a bit of a play, you know, if you can have a snack with apple slices and almond butter, or apple and peanut butter as a sort of healthy snack. Actually, it sort of took that up a notch, and I really enjoyed it.
Okay, well, my teenage son has agreed to taste it, which he's normally a bit fussy about even trying anything new, but he's got much more adventurous since this came along. So
going to do that live on camera, or is he not that brave?
I don't know. So then it's going to go again. It's going to do another 10 seconds of speed 4 this time. So we'll just let that go again. We might be a bit camera shy, but I'll give it a go.
You know what though? This has been the amazing thing about Thermomixes in our homes, haven't you, if you've got children? They really, I mean, I know we've got fussy children, Lindsay, you and I, but they're really strange. They eat the most amazing, unusual foods because they get to understand it, don't they, really?
There we go. So here we have, you can see, lovely apple spice. It does smell spicy. So I'm going to give that a taste. I'll serve that up, and I think that'll be nice with some sliced apple.
Yeah, and I added extra maple syrup to mine. Right, can we just whiz back to me very quickly, Alfie, before we go to Linda for the cider?
I've got my thing is ready, my souffles.
Oh, fab. Right, let's go to Sarah for the souffles then, because we don't want them to collapse.
Oh, my glasses have steamed up. Hang on.
Oh my God, how brave is she? Wow.
Look at them.
Oh my God.
Oh, they look great, don't they?
Gosh, they're amazing.
Yeah, fantastic dinner party starter.
Yeah.
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 Well, again, a little light lunch with some lovely fresh bread that you've made. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A bit of salad.
So really good.
Okay.
Okay. Right, Alfie, do you want to come back to me very quickly? I'm going to show you this loaf. So here we go. Here is this loaf that has been fermenting away or proving away for 35 minutes. You can see it's beautifully risen. It's just reached the top of the tin, which is exactly what I wanted to see. I preheated my oven. So all I'm going to do now is just stick it in the oven, and it's going to bake for about, I think it's about 30 minutes. And I'm going to have a beautiful, handsome farmhouse loaf out. Now, how quick and easy was that? You wouldn't think that bread making could be this easy when you've got full manual control over it. A lot of people said, oh, I've got bread makers, I don't know how the Thermomix fits in. Well, the joy of the Thermomix, I've also had people with bread makers say that they have never produced bread like a Thermomix produces in their bread maker.
No,
so
I was a bread maker owner, and it never has been so fantastic since I've owned a Thermomix.
And actually, okay, the bread maker, the joy of it is obviously you can come down in the morning, you've got a loaf, but the quality of that loaf will be nowhere near the quality of the dough that you get out of the Thermomix. And actually, for less than about 5 minutes hands-on effort, all I had to do was weigh the ingredients in, did a little bit of shaping, but if you're too lazy to do that, or you don't want to do it, or you don't know how to do it, you can just dump it in the tin, and then leave it to prove and stick it in the oven for 30 minutes, and you've got fresh bread. So it makes it just really easy and achievable and very cheap, because it's a lot cheaper to make your own bread. I make my own sourdough. I can make a beautiful big loaf of sourdough for about 40p. And if I was to buy an artisan loaf on the market every Saturday, it would be between £4 and £5, the equivalent version. So again, demonstrates another element and another piece of the jigsaw in that cost saving equation as well. So right, let's give Linda her moment of fame as well and go over to Linda for the buttered cider, which I'm hoping she'll enjoy with her partner tonight.
Well, I think I've got the best job tonight, actually, with the alcohol and what have you. But I have weighed out my ingredients to save time. Like Sarah, I make all my own butter. I never buy butter from anywhere. It's just so easy to make and it's really delicious. So for this recipe, it's asking me to have 2 ounces of unsalted butter. So I'm popping that in there now. And I have to say that I've not actually made this recipe before. So it's something that, you know, it is like everybody else tonight, you know, it's a first. So it's now asking me to put 2 ounces of maple syrup in, which I'm now about to do. And again, and the vanilla beans, I'm now going to put those in. So, which all of this I have prepared, but as everybody else has said, you can just pop it in as you go. So the next step is a 1/4 teaspoonful of salt, which I've prepared earlier, and then I put measuring cup on. All of this goes on now, and next, and it's now going to take 3 minutes at 212, and I will turn my dial round to 2, and it's now cooking. So 3 minutes time, we'll start to add the alcohol and the other ingredients, and hopefully it will be something that will be really tasty. And it serves 12, so could be a long night.
Yeah, exactly. It's party at yours tonight, Linda, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The only thing is I'm in isolation from COVID, so no one can join me apart from Mike, so we're fine.
Oh, that's the perfect excuse. That's all you need. You rum buttered cider and each other. Brilliant. So, Michaela, how are you getting on with that chocolate sauce? Is it done? Have you done the sauce? Are we back with Michaela?
Yes, sorry, I was dishing up, look. So
oh yeah, I got there before you.
Yeah, sorry, just let me the smell in the kitchen. Sorry, I was taking photographs to do, but there it is plated up, look.
It's lovely, doesn't it?
I mean, amazing. And the cardamom in the chocolate is just divine. And this I can drink with red wine, and let me tell you guys, this is healthy, good for my heart, full of antioxidants. So there we go, how you eat fantastic restaurant quality food, which is really healthy for you.
Brilliant. Okay, right, let's go back to me, Alfie. And my stroganoff has just finished. Okay, so it's counted down to 0, 15 minutes in there. It's asking me to take off the varoma and set it aside. Now, what I'm going to do, quite handy here if you have a second lid, for this reason, because look, you can pop the varoma down onto the second lid, and it acts as a tray, just catching all those drips. So the green vegetables are all nicely steamed in there, still bright green, absolutely beautiful, lovely and crunchy. And now it's asking me to add some sour cream to it. So we're just going to finish with a bit of sour cream. So 100 grams just weighed in. So I'll put my scales back to 0. Add in my 100 grams of cream. Give it a stir. In fact, I'll just go on to next. It says stir to combine with the spatula. So the cream is not going to be cooked at all. It's just there to enrich that stroganoff. Just give it a little bit of a stir with the spatula. And then I click on next. It says transfer cabbage into a thermal serving bowl or other large bowl, and then top with a stroganoff and garnish with chopped parsley to serve. So let's just get that on a plate so that you can see how it comes together. I need a set of tongs, which I used earlier. Here's another set of tongs. Here we go. So all I'm going to do, lots of steam here, is we've just going to pop the simple steamed greens, put a little bit of butter on them if you want to, and a little bit of the tender stem. I just added in this broccoli. Look, it's still lovely and bright and crunchy and green. That'd be lovely. Just pop that over there. And then I'm just going to add in this sauce next to it. I'm going to deliver it straight to my husband. Look, it's better than it's easier than a ready meal in many respects, isn't it? So there's the stroganoff. So if I can just show you what it looks like. There we go. And I'm going to get a nice big serving spoon out because I know he's really hungry. I'm just going to pop that onto the plate beside it.
Oh, is that the last meal? Or have we still got one more to see yet?
No, I think we're just going back to Linda quickly with her.
All right,
her
come on then, we're
cider.
against the clock.
There we
don't
go.
forget.
We are against the clock. Well, that's it. Okay, so there we go. They've plated up. Nice, handsome plate of winter. Moving into winter, hearty food. Because, of course, this was an autumn menu, just showing you some more of the sort of winter warming dishes that you can move on to doing. So there we go. Absolutely delicious. Super easy. Can't wait to tuck in later. Right, let's get back over to Linda.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Just pop my scone in.
Yes. Oh, let's show Sarah's scone first of all,
Okay,
what she's
no
about
problem.
to do with that.
So I've just brushed the top with, I've taken it out of the freezer, so it's just cool enough, and it was made it easier to cut into the 8 pieces. Then I've just topped it with 50 grams of milk and sprinkled some sugar on it. And now I'm going to put it in at 220 degrees. So that's it. Okay, then we should see the magic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go back to Linda.
Right, meal delivered. Yep, back to Linda.
for the alcohol content. Yeah, no problem. So the next thing that it's asking me to do is to put in 48 ounces of apple cider. So there we go. So I'm popping that in there. And the next is 6 ounces of orange juice. So popping that in. And then we need to put the measuring lid on again, and that is now, it says 15 minutes, which I'm presuming it's going to warm it all up. So nice hot toddy. Just got to add the rum, I think, at the end. Thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. I hadn't realised there was a 15-minute cooking time on there, otherwise we'd have got you on a bit earlier and then we could have done you a cheers. But we'll
got the
put
rum
that on
here
the
ready.
Yeah. God, how much rum?
Oh, it's
sleep well tonight. Yeah, you'll sleep well tonight. But you know, this is a great example of the way you can use your Thermomix to make cocktails or mocktails. So I don't drink alcohol anymore these days, and being able to just very quickly make myself a mocktail or 2 or 5 over the weekend has been absolutely brilliant.
Well, I'll
and
stop
there's
the clock.
Stop the clock. There's so many recipes on the Thermomix for things for drinks as well as food and bread and ice cream and risottos and soups and stews. You will find endless amusement going through them all. And with 70,000 to pick from, you will never exhaust the entire catalogue of recipes, and we're constantly adding to them. So, right, we've stopped the clock. I'm not going to announce who the winner is, and we're not going to give you the answer straight away. Whilst I've got just a couple of minutes, we've finished cooking now, and we'll post the recipes that we've made this evening on the Thermomix Whiz customer group on Facebook. So if you're not part of that group, please do join it, because it's a great resource for Thermomix owners and also prospective owners just thinking about whether they want a Thermomix, because there's lots of inspiration on there. And also thoughts of our owners of what they think about their Thermomix. So don't just take it from us, because of course we're biased, but then absolutely every Thermomix owner on the planet is biased, because we all think this is the best possible thing that you can buy. But just very quickly to finish off, I just wanted to show people cookie dough actually. So if I just go into, if I can share my screen quickly. Go into Safari. Let's go like that. let's go into cookie dough. Can you see my cookie dough? I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes showing you cookie dough. So you'll see that the interface looks exactly like the interface on the Thermomix touch screen. So you've got that search function and facility. I'm just going to set those cookies. So you can search on here, but what I wanted to show you was going down to, oh, it's difficult because I've got my Zoom toolbar right over where I just need to move it out the way, really. So I can go into the search on cookie dough. Right, so let's go to explore. I can see it now because my toolbar is out of the way. So search. So say I wanted to cook chicken. Let's just put chicken in there. It's going to bring me up, well, over 1,000 results. And I think, oh, that looks really good. So here we go. Here are my options then. So I can either set it to cook today, I can bookmark it. So I can add it to a collection. So I can add these recipes to recipe collections that I create myself. So as you'll see here are my collections. So I've got a chicken collection. We do like a lot of chicken in this family. So I just pop it into my chicken collection. So it's added to my recipe folder. So there's that one option. If you do it a lot, you can bookmark it. It's like a favorite. So it's always there. You can add it to your week. So let's put it, I'm going to cook that tomorrow, for example. So save that. So here, chicken teriyaki, oh, that looks like a good one. I'm going to add that to my week. I'm going to cook that on Saturday night. So let's pop that on there. So once you've added them to your week, you've also got the opportunity to add them to your shopping list. So let's pop in, add to my shopping list, add to my shopping list. And then if I go to my shopping list, okay, let's go to my week first of all, because I think that's where I can find my shopping list. There we go. On my shopping list, it will show me what ingredients that I've got on there. And then if I want to, so if I want to show them to start with, it can organize them by category or by recipes, which I think I prefer. I can edit and amend them. So if I've got some broccoli, I can just take it off. If I've got carrot, I can take it off. Shallots, I can take it off. So you can add, edit or amend. You can also add your own sort of non-grocery or other grocery ingredients to it. And then you can just click order. And then it will give you these options. So at the moment we've got, I thought we had Asda and Tesco's back, but they seem to have disappeared again. But we also should have Asda and Tesco's as shopping partners as well. But they're not showing on my list this evening. So if I just want to find out how much they're going to cost at Sainsbury's, it will tell me what my basket costs at Sainsbury's. So it's going to tell me if I'm going to buy all of those ingredients, it's going to cost £38.71. If I then want to, I need to just keep moving these toolbars out of the way, so it's not ideal. So I might want to change the store. Let's see if I can find the how to change store. Here we go, it's at the bottom now. So if I want to go and buy it at Waitrose, it's going to tell me it's going to cost me £56. Now, obviously you can swap. So these are branded products, but you can also swap these to the supermarket own brands as well. So you again have full control over it, but it gives you a really good view of how you can start to plan what you want to cook, and then do your online shopping with as little real fuss and effort as possible. So that's really all I wanted to show you on cookie dough. If you just go back to my recipes for a minute, because I didn't show you this on the machine, so you can see all the sorts of recipes that I've got or collections that I've got in here. And these are actual recipe books that Thermomix produce. So you don't only search on a recipe level, you can also search collections. So these collections, I'm just going to take off, it's filtered on all languages. So I'm just going to filter it on the English ones because we don't want to show necessarily the other markets. So let's put in UK and Australia, that'll do. So let's see, my toolbars are always in the way. Okay, so it's now just showing me the English language. So these are cookery books that are brought out by Thermomix. They're included free of charge within your Cookie Dough subscription, which is currently £30 a year. We bring out at least 2, if not 3 new collections per month in every single market. So these are the most recent ones. So you can just click on those and you think, oh, they range from sort of 10 to 20 recipes up to entire cookery books of sort of 80 to 100. So there's a lovely little family favorites one. If I want to save it, I just click save, and then it will appear on my Thermomix screen under saved collections as well. So if I just want to scroll down and have a look at some of the recipes, I can have a look and I can save these individually. So that onion pie, that looks good. I think, oh, I'm going to add that into, I'm sure I've got a quiches or tarts collection. So these are my own recipe sort of books or collections that I put together. What have I got? Quiche and tarts. So I can pop that in there. So it just makes it really easy to sort, find recipes, get organized. And I always find with Cookie Do, the longer you spend having a look on Cookie Do, the more that you get out of your Thermomix, because you will come across lots of different recipes. But again, that's where your advisor comes into his or her own, because they will be able to give you a good steer with the sorts of recipes that we cook on a daily basis, or different things that we find. I often share quite off the wall random recipes on the group, and the aim of that is just to show you the breadth and the versatility of what Thermomix can do. So if I just pop back to the screen for a final time, I'm just going to show you on here, just so that you can see here on the recipes, those created collections also appear on your Thermomix screen. And now, hang on, creative collections, there we go. I just pressed the wrong button. So all of those recipes are available through your Thermomix screen as well, and the saved collections too. So you can really have up to, I don't know what the storage on here, but it's pretty impressive, really. In fact, all the data is held on Cookie Do, so you can have as many collections as you want. And the recently cooked history, I think, encompasses about something incredible, something like 500 recipes. So all the recipes that you've recently cooked as well go into here. You can see you've got a recently cooked folder as well. I keep clearing mine out, so I don't have many on there. But these will be all available offline for you. So you can also use your Thermomix offline, or you can hotspot off a phone if you're going to be away without Wi-Fi. So there are lots of different ways you can use it. The last thing really to say is we hope you've enjoyed this evening. I don't know if there's anything come out of the oven whilst I've been talking. One final thing I want to just say to people is that we do offer a 14-day money-back guarantee. So you get full peace of mind if you are still sort of on the fence and slightly undecided about a Thermomix. If you buy one, you get the option of using it at home for 14 days. And if you're not satisfied after 14 days, you can send it back and we will refund you in full. And there are absolutely no quibbles. But I've got to warn you, I haven't had a single customer, and I've got in excess of 200 personal customers, ever do that to me, and I don't intend to start now. But it just does give you that peace of mind, because of course when you're spending a lot of money on an appliance, you need to make sure it's right for you, which is the reason why we do these demos, so you can fully understand what it's all about, and then you can understand the level of support you're going to get going forward as a customer. So I hope you've enjoyed that this evening. We've shown you
the results.
Oh yes, the results before we go. That's what you're all hanging on for. Yes, so let me know, please let me know how long we cooked for this evening.
Right, so we've mediated this, haven't we, Sarah? So we came in cooking time, including all the hints and tips shared with the team, 1 hour 3 minutes. So our winner as our nearest customer is Sue Kirkby, 1 hour 5 minutes. And I'm going to put Lindsay on the spot. We had a cheeky second place. She wasn't far out. Was the lovely, I think she's called Fabulous Kim Daly. Maybe Lindsay's feeling generous and we'll give a second place one.
Oh yeah, why not?
Well
is that
done,
one of your
ladies.
customers? Is that one of your customers by any chance, Michaela?
No, not actually. It's not.
You're just feeling generous.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Well done, ladies.
Okay, so if anybody's got any questions, I'm just going to stop recording now. So let's stop the recording. Okay,